Hey there, and welcome to another Python Fundamentals tutorial video on the Future Programmer YouTube channel. Today, we will be talking all about Python third-party packages. Specifically, we will be taking a look at how we can add pip to our system path and how we can use pip to install and manage third-party packages. So without further ado, let's get into it. The reason behind Python's popularity in programming fields like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science is because of the extremely high number of supported third-party packages which anyone, anywhere can install and use. So today, we will be taking a look at how we can install those third-party modules and packages and use them in our programs. Now, before we start, a quick note about the difference between a Python package and a Python module. A Python package is essentially a collection of modules. Now, there are other differences like the presence of the init.py file, but they are irrelevant to today's topic, so I won't be going into details. To start off, what are third-party modules and packages? Well, Python is known as an open source project, so anyone anywhere can actively contribute to the Python ecosystem. Many programmers around the world often make their projects available to everyone else by uploading those source code onto the internet so other developers around the world can install and use them in their programs. Say I have a friend who has a brilliant idea which they have implemented in Python. If they would like to share that idea with everyone around the world, they can upload the source code onto the internet so people like us can use that program as well. That's the idea behind third-party modules and packages. Now that we know what Python third-party modules and packages are, let's move on and talk about pip, which is the tool that Python developers use to install, uninstall, and in general just to manage third-party Python programs installed on our computers. Pip stands for the Preferred Installer Program, and since Python version 3.4, it's by default included in the standard Python installation. So if you have a Python version number that's greater than 3.4, like 3.6 or 3.7, 3.9, you would already have pip on your computer. So let's take a look at what pip looks like. What you want to do is on your Windows computer, you want to click on the search icon or the search bar, and you want to type in cmd or command prompt, and then click enter. You may see an output that looks something like this. And it's possible that you have a different prompt than I do since I've changed my home path to my C drive. And in here, you want to try to type pip and then press enter. Ideally, you'd see an output that looks something like this. You'll see usage and then pip command options and then a list of commands as well as general options. Now, if you see something like this, that's fantastic. You don't have to do any extra system configuration since pip is already on your system path. So you can skip to the next part of this video and learn about how we can use pip to install packages. At the same time, it's entirely possible that you have not added pip to your system path, in which case you would see an output that looks something like this. Now here, if I type pip, you'll see pip is not recognized as an internal or external command, operable, program, or batch file. In this case, pip is not recognized because we have not added pip to our system path. And here you have a choice to make. You can try out using py-m and then pip. Now this should give you the correct pip result regardless of whether pip has been added to the system path. So if this works for you and you feel like typing this is not a lot and you can work with Python just by typing all of this rather than typing the 3-letter version of it, that's totally fine and you can skip to the next part of the video as well. Now, if you don't see this output or you're not satisfied with using such a long command, it's not that long actually, but if you would rather use the shorter version of it, then I'm going to show you how you can add pip to your Windows path. Now, there are 3 ways to do them. I'm going to be showing you each of them. The first way is to use the command prompt command, SETX. The first thing you want to do actually is to find your Python script path. And if you used the default installation location when you installed Python, then this folder should be located somewhere right here. And XX is going to be the version number of your Python installation. So if you have Python 3.9, then XX would be 3.9. So I'm going to actually copy this path and then go to the search bar and paste this in, obviously replacing the XX to 3.9. And you'll see this pops up. So I'm going to click open this. And in here, you may not have any of what I have, or you may not have most of what I have, but hopefully you would have the pip.exe file. And that's really the program behind pip. So what we want to do now is to add this folder to the Windows system path. So every time we enter something in command prompt, Windows would look in this folder to see if the name of what we typed matches any of these exe files. So the first way to do that is through the command prompt command, SETX. So we want to again open up command prompt, search bar, cmd, and in this window, it does not matter where you are in terms of the directory. You want to type in setx path and then this string. Now you want to replace script, just this part, with the actual path of your scripts folder. So you want to copy this path. Control C also works, but I'm going to just do copy. And you want to replace this script with what I just copied. So if you have the Python version 3.9 and you installed Python at the default location, then you can use this command, setx path, and then this whole string. And you can just paste this in command prompt and then press enter. And you'll see, hopefully, success, specified value was saved. So what this command did was it modified the path variable, the path environment variable on your system to this string. And what this string is firstly, this part is going to be the original value of the path. Now, when you installed Windows, I believe that you would already have some values in the path variable. And if you have installed other programs on your computer, then you may also have other values in the path variable. So we're keeping the original value and then adding the new value at the end. So we're adding the scripts folder of Python at the end of the original value. So this is what this command is doing. Now, if I type pip, you will still see an error since we have not restarted command prompt. Make sure to close this and then reopen command prompt. And here, now if I type pip, you would see the output should be the correct output. You should see the usage and then command, options, etc. So if this works, that's great. You can move on to the next part where we're going to talk about installing Python packages. Now, if this doesn't work for you, then you have to manually edit the path variable. I'm going to pause the video recording for a moment while I revert my path back to where it doesn't have the scripts folder so I can show you how to manually edit it and we're on the same page. All right, so what you want to do is you want to search for edit the system environment variables in your start menu. I'm just going to type in env since it's going to autocomplete for me. And you want to look for the option edit the system environment variables from control panel. And you want to click open this. And you'll see a window that looks like this. in here, you want to click on Environment Variables. In here, you'll see this window open up. And then you want to double click on Path, and you'll see something somewhat similar to what I have, hopefully. I believe the top 4 options, those 4 lines, are going to be the default values of the path variable when you install Windows. Those ones below are folders that I've added to the system path from my own programs that I've installed. So what we want to do now is to add the scripts folder to this list. So I want to copy this again, Control C. And in here, I want to press New and paste this using Control V. And then Enter. Make sure you press OK rather than just closing it. You want to press OK, and then OK again, OK again. So now if I open Command Prompt and type in pip, you'll see we have the output of the command list. So now we can use pip. Now that hopefully worked for you. If you have any problems, feel free to leave comments down below and I'll try my best to help you debug that. So now let's take a look at the last option. If that didn't work for you, then the last resort would be reinstalling Python onto your computer. So you want to first uninstall Python from your computer by searching for Python on your search bar. You want to search for Python and you want to uninstall, and it will walk you through the process of doing that. And then you want to go to python.org/downloads. And you want to download whatever version you would like, preferably the latest version or the latest stable version at least, and run the installer. And in the installer, when offered the option, make sure to check the box Add Python, whatever version it is, to path, since that's exactly what we need to do. We want to add pip to path. And hopefully that would work for you. And at the end of the day, if none of the above options work for you, then you may just have to use py-m pip rather than pip directly. The main functionality that pip offers us is it allows us to install Python packages from the internet. And for that purpose, we use the command pip install x, replacing x with the name of the package that we want to install. I'm going to use the popular data science and machine learning package called NumPy as an example. And so we will use the command pip install NumPy to install it. Note that we don't write this command in like a Python shell like this, or we don't write it in a Python file either. We want to open a command prompt window and do that in there. A reminder, you want to search for CMD and open up this app. And in here, we want to type pip install NumPy. Now, if you don't have pip and you're using py-m pip, then you want to just write it like this. But since I do have pip, I can use either. So I'm going to write the shorter version, pip install NumPy. Now, since I didn't bother to uninstall every single package that I have for this video, you can see requirement is already satisfied and NumPy is already installed on my system. Now for you, if you don't have NumPy installed, you'll see a loading screen while pip grabs the package from the internet. So now we have NumPy installed and we can use it in our Python programs. When we want to import a package that we install, we can just write it like how we write a regular import statement. So I can just write import NumPy. But since the industry standard convention in data science and machine learning applications is to import NumPy as NP, I'm going to do that here. So import NumPy as NP. And then I'm going to print out its members. And you can just see just how many members the NumPy package has, just how many possibilities the package opens up for us. And this is just one out of the many packages that Python has. So I'm going to hide this output. And this is basically how you install a package using pip. If you type pip directly into command prompt, it's going to give you an output of a list of valid commands and their brief descriptions. Now, some of them you will never use, like pip, and you'll see the command right here. I've never used commands like hash, wheel, catch, or completion, debug. I've never used any of those, but there are some that I think are pretty useful at times, other than pip install, of course. The first one is pip uninstall, which, as the name suggests, uninstalls specific packages that you specify in the command. And the syntax is the same as pip install. So if I want to uninstall NumPy, I can just write pip uninstall NumPy. Now, I don't want to do that, obviously, so I'm not going to press enter. And then there's also pip show, which displays information about specified installed packages. So I can learn more about the package NumPy by writing pip show NumPy. And you can see pip is going to give us information about the package NumPy, what version we have installed, a summary of it, the homepage link, and etc. And there's also those two commands, pip list and pip freeze. So I'm going to show you pip list. This gives you a list of the Python packages that you have installed on your system. You can see I have quite a few packages on my system, which is why this is taking a while to generate. Yeah, so you can see this whole list of the packages that I have, as well as the versions that I have installed. And there's also the pip freeze command, which also gives you a list of the packages that you have. Now, this generates the list in a format fit for requirements.txt files. And if you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. I have never personally used it, and I've never seen a situation where you have to know how to use it. So I'm not going to talk more about how to use requirements.txt files here. And that's really all I have for pip. Now let's talk about the Python package index. So now I want to install a package. How can I learn about the details about that specific package? Now we can use the Python package index, which is abbreviated PyPI, and according to its homepage, it allows Python developers to find, install, and publish Python packages. The link is right here, pypi.org. And here I can, well, find, install, and publish Python packages. So for example, if I want to learn more about the NumPy package, which we've been using as example, I can search for NumPy, and you can see this option right here, NumPy version 1.21.0, and I can click on this. And it gives you project description, release history, the files that you can download manually, a brief description. In some cases, this will be where the documentation of the package is, but since NumPy is such a huge package, it has a dedicated documentation website that you can click on right here to learn more about it. And you can also see things like GitHub statistics, like how many stars and forks it has, and how many open issues and pull requests it has. And at the homepage, you can just see we have more than 300,000 projects on the Python package index. That's a lot of packages in my opinion. And we also have how many releases, files, and users as well. So now finally, you wield the true powers of Python. Python third-party packages lay the foundation for some of the world's most powerful technologies, like how I've talked about how Python is used in big companies like Google, Instagram, and Facebook, and the third-party packages are what allows those companies to use Python in their technology. And the only limit now is your imagination and creativity. And there you have it, third-party Python packages, the concept that makes some of the world's most powerful technologies possible. And now this tool is in your hand. In the next video, we will be starting the last chapter of the Python Fundamentals course, which is going to be handling external files, where you'll learn all about how you can read and write to various different file types on your system using Python. In the meanwhile, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Future Programmer to learn more about programming. With that said, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in another programming tutorial.